Hey friends, I wanted to put out a video series where I kind of give you my process in breaking down and deciphering some of these garbage bills out there that are purposely put out with wording and language that makes it difficult for us to discern what these people are trying to say. They say it in terms that it's a little bit confusing. There's a couple of reasons why they do things like that. One, they are trying to intentionally confuse us. They don't want us to understand the intent of the bill. They get in these rooms, they close the doors, and they know what their intent of the bill is as a group, as a very small group of lawmakers, knowing full well when they push this out there, if anything is misunderstood, well, of course they can say, well, that's not what I meant or whatever. But they intentionally want us not to be able to follow the bill and not to be able to read the negatives in it and the type of language they're going to use. So we have to beat them at that game. We have to educate our own community to make sure that we are equally informed as to what the words are that they intend to put out there. So what I'm going to do is none of what I do, none of what I say in this series of videos, in this video today, is an official, way of doing anything. It's how I do it. I'm not looking at a rule book to tell you what I've got here. I'm simply telling you this is how I break some of these bills down, and you will be surprised at how remarkable it simplifies things and allow you to flow through these bills and pick up on certain sentences and certain words that you really need to be on the lookout for and ignore all the rest of the garbage. What I'm going to do is take a current bill that is proposed in the House in the state of Louisiana. Now, this bill I will be getting back to you guys on because this is a horrible bill. So don't get lost in the weeds as far as what is being said in this bill, because I'll put a video out describing it. I'm just using this particular one as an example. It's House Bill number 8 by Representative Fontenot, who is a Republican, by the way. Now, these are the things that I want you to look at when you're looking at a bill. Don't start at the very top and start overwhelming yourself with things that don't make sense. Like at the very, very top where it says HLS 22RS-130, ignore that. I don't know what it means. I don't care what it means. And it obviously doesn't matter what it means because it has nothing to do with anything in the bill of any real substance. That's not a code for anything that's going to tell us something that we need to be understanding. Below that, it's going to tell you the House session or what session it is. Then the House bill, then it's going to be who proposed it. I put a pink label next to it because I like to go through my bills. It's sad that I have to do this, but I put a pink label because I want to know if they're Republican or Democrat. My Democrats, of course, do I have any here? Yeah, my Democrats are going to have blue labels. Blue for Democrat, pink, because I don't have a red, but pink is probably fine, for Republicans. I do that because unfortunately, especially in the state of Louisiana, there is no real distinction between a anti-gun Republican and an anti-gun Democrat. They all kind of do the same thing. So usually you can read a bill and tell what the political affiliation is. Unfortunately, it ain't that easy anymore. So I have to actually spell that out. But if you look right below that, weapons, firearms, that's the actual category. You can search, at least in the state of Louisiana, I'm sure all states are the same. You can search using a keyword and it will pull up all the bills that relate to that. So that's how I pulled it up. So this is giving me my search term right there, weapons, firearms. So this one says, provides an exception to the illegal carrying of weapons for city prosecutors and assistant city prosecutors. Kind of self-explanatory, but you'll notice that they throw kind of negative terms in there and disqualifying terms in there, like exemption and like illegal carrying. That is kind of the beginning of where they're trying to muddy the water a little bit, kind of throw you off the trail. By putting that in there, if there's something in there that you don't understand, that just makes it even more difficult to understand. So what I typically will do when I read that front, I'll skip straight to the back, and you'll see, at least again in the state of Louisiana, again, most states are probably like this, you'll see where it says abstract. Abstract is pretty good, and below that is pretty good too, because the abstract is going to give you kind of a general breakdown of what the bill is in more simplistic terms, even though it is still convoluted the way they put that in there. And then below that, you're going to see present law. It's going to be obviously the existing law that's in place now, what it means and what it says. And below that would be proposed law, and it's what they're proposing to change. Let's go to the front real quick, and I want to show you in the meat of the bill, because a lot of times the really negative and bad facts are buried in the meat of the bill itself. So you don't want to just skip through. You want to see if it's a bill that you need to look at, first of all, by reading the abstract and, of course, the simple title at the front. But after you do that, I mean, if it's saying that it wants to change a street sign to something or whatever, as long as there's not all kind of other little bills piled into it, you probably want to move on. So reading the simple title and the abstract is going to get you there. But this one here, when I read it, I'm like, okay, I want to read this bill because it's got stuff in it. When you start reading it, I want to explain something super, super simple to you. What I do is I look for the declarative statements, the actual statements in there. And I'm not trying to make this into an English class, but I look for the statements that are different. I'm not looking for a bunch of adjectives. You'll notice that I have highlighted right here. I skipped through all the other stuff except as provided in paragraph A5 of this section and in paragraph 2 of this subsection. That's all stuff right there that's, yeah, they have to do that legally because they're referring to other maybe criminal codes and things like that. But then it comes into this section that I've highlighted, shall not prohibit active justices or judges. And then it goes on and lists a long laundry list of additional people. Well, again, once you start reading through 8, 9, 10 lines of that stuff, it gets old and you can lose your train of thought quick. What I like to do is, and this is what I encourage everyone to do, find the sentences or the words in that sentence rather that matter, highlight them, disregard the rest. So you'll notice I highlight shall not prohibit active justices or judges, and I skip all the way down, and then I highlight again where it says from possessing and concealing a handgun on their person. That's pretty simple. You have one big giant paragraph right here with all these words, all these lines, 10, 11 lines of text. And basically all you really need to read is that it shall not prohibit active justices or judges from possessing and concealing a handgun on their person. That's pretty much it. So it tells you that they're carving out a unique subset of people who are going to have special privileges to be able to handle and possess and have a firearm. So to me, that's the kind of stuff that I have a real problem with. Now, if you look in the abstract, again, the abstract also, since it's not, the abstract is not the actual words of the law, so they can pile in things in there that, again, throw you off the trail and make you not fully understand what the intent of that bill is. So let me explain to you again how I do that. Okay, I look at, if you read the sentence the way it's written, provides an exception to the illegal carrying of weapons for city prosecutors and assistant city prosecutors. Okay, if you'll notice what I've done here, I highlight the parts that matter. Provides, and then you'll notice I have just the word legal in the full word illegal. I have just legal highlighted because that's going to matter. The reason why is because these two words next to each other, kind of a double negative, so to speak. Exception means obviously that it's going to be the kind of the opposite or, not apply to the next phrase that it's describing. So it's describing illegal carrying. So the exception to illegal carrying means what? It means the legal carrying. So that's why I have that underlined. You're going to get rid of the phrase an exception to the illegal carrying and change that so that it makes perfect sense to you and any friends or family that you're trying to communicate these bills to, and use the highlighted portion. Provides legal carrying of weapons for city prosecutors and assistant city prosecutors. Guys, that's the first in a long line of series of videos that I'm going to do like this. I really want to do my part, the best I can do, in trying to help you guys help us. There's a lot of folks out there, obviously Jared with Guns and Gadgets, Johnny B does a really good job, Langley Outdoors, I talked to him today, he does a really good job, Arm Scholar does a really good job. But there's a lot of YouTube guys that are trying to do and really do an excellent job of breaking these bills down, because I think more people see the need, including myself. We all see the need to make sure that the general public understands these bills, because politicians have gotten along for so long being able to throw us off the trail. being able to throw something over here that doesn't make sense and frustrate the reader to the point where you stop reading and you don't start digging into these bills. When do we find out when most of these bills have this really negative stuff in it? Not before they vote on it. It's after they've been passed. And suddenly we find out on a newspaper headline that suddenly this is the new law that's going to be applicable on January 1st of the coming year. That's scary to me. We can head a lot of this stuff off at the pass. First of all, politicians do not want to be voted out. They don't care about you. I say this all the time. They don't care about you. They don't care about me. They don't care about the general public. They don't care about the community. None of that stuff. They don't care about their states. They care about the perks, benefits, and everything else associated with being reelected. So that's all they care about. You start making phone calls to these people, letting them know, I can read this bill, because they assume you're stupid. They assume you're stupid. They word these bills to throw you again off the trail and make you go, well, this is just too much. So by assuming that you're stupid, they also assume that you're just going to keep voting for them because you're too stupid to know any better. By letting them know, I read the bill, I know what it says, and tell them this is what it says. Tell them this bill provides legal carrying of weapons for city prosecutors and assistant city prosecutors. You're going to start getting these people more honest. Now, I say more honest. I'm not implying that they'll ever be honest. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, let me rephrase that. They will lie less to your face. How about that? They'll lie less. That's way better. So you're going to start putting the pressure on them to be more honest or lie less, but at the same time, to stop putting forth garbage bills, because now they know you know how to read them. So again, guys, I'll have a full series of this. If you have anything you'd like to discuss or contribute, if you have anything that you think, hey, what about this? This is what I like to do, and this is how I do it. This is how I discern what these bills mean. Simply put that in the comment section below. I'd love to hear it. But I do plan on putting a lot of these out. I'm going to take various bills and break them down like this so you can see, wow, these are the only sections I needed to be aware of and pay specific attention to, because all these other things separated by commas don't really matter, because it's just filling up space on the page with words that don't change anything when you have these couple of highlighted sentences that tells you everything you need to know about the bill. So guys, stay tuned for that. Appreciate it, guys. Look, remember, never be afraid to be the safest person in the room and the deadliest.
Let's go, Brandon.